Los Angeles, August 2025. The Jimmy Kimmel Live studio crackles with tension. In the dressing room, Sylvester Stallone, a 79-year-old actor, adjusts his shirt. His weathered face is calm, but his eyes burn with purpose. He's here to talk about his documentary on veterans with PTSD, a project he's nurtured for years. The air smells of floor polish and hot stage lights. Backstage, Jimmy Kimmel, the 57-year-old host, flips through his script. His show is losing ratings, and his producer whispers, "Jimmy, we need a scandal. Stir up Sly." Live broadcast. The audience roars, spotlights blind. Jimmy brings out Stallone, cracking jokes about Rocky. Stallone sits, ready to discuss veterans. "Sly, tell us about the film," Jimmy says with a grin. "A documentary? Veterans? Serious stuff?" Stallone leans forward, his voice firm. "Jimmy, it's about people who come back from war broken. They sleep on the streets because we've abandoned them." The crowd falls silent. Jimmy, sensing he's losing control, laughs. "Well, Sly, maybe you should have made Rambo 10? At least that's fun." The audience chuckles hesitantly. Stallone's lips tighten. "It's not a joke, Jimmy. These people deserve respect." Jimmy, irritated, snaps. "Oh, come on, Sly, shut your mouth and tell us something funny." Silence. Stallone slowly stands, removes his mic. "I came to talk about something important. If you don't care, I'm done. Watch my film if you want the truth." He tosses the mic and walks off stage. The crowd gasps, Jimmy freezes, producers panic. In the hallway, Stallone is intercepted by Emily, an Afghanistan veteran and assistant. "Your film means something to me," she whispers, trembling. Stallone pauses. "Then I'll make sure it's heard. But not here." In the dressing room, Ted, a cameraman whose son has PTSD, joins them. He offers to record Stallone's speech, unedited. The camera rolls, and Stallone speaks about veterans, their names, pain, losses. Emily cries. Ted steadies the camera. Outside, producers pound on the door, demanding they stop. The recording ends. Ted says, "I'll post it, even if it costs me my job." Stallone nods, but the noise outside grows louder. What's next? Will they get the truth out? Can Stallone withstand Hollywood's pressure? Sylvester Stallone's dressing room is thick with tension, like the moments before a fight. The air is heavy with the scent of floor polish and cooling coffee in a paper cup on the table. Stallone sits, his hands still trembling from the adrenaline of the speech he just recorded for Ted. Emily stands by the door, her eyes red but resolute. Ted, a graying cameraman, tucks the flash drive with the recording into the pocket of his worn jacket. Outside, loud voices echo. Producers from Jimmy Kimmel's show pound on the door, demanding it be opened. "Open the door now," a woman's voice, likely head producer Linda, shouts. "You're breaching the contract." Stallone looks at Ted and Emily. His voice is calm, but hard as steel. "Ted, you sure about this? They'll destroy you." Ted smiles, though fear flickers in his eyes. "Mr. Stallone, my son came back from Iraq a different man. If your film can help people like him, I'm willing to take the risk." He pats his pocket. "This flash drive is going online, even if I have to run from here." Emily nods, her voice trembling. "I can distract them. Tell me what to do." Stallone pauses, thinking. He knows Hollywood doesn't forgive those who defy the system. But before him are two people who believe in him and thousands of veterans whose stories he promised to tell. He can't back down. "Emily, open the door. I'll talk to them." "Ted, you know what to do." Emily takes a deep breath and unlocks the door. Linda, a tall woman in a sharp suit, bursts in, flanked by two security guards. Her face burns with anger. "Sylvester, what do you think you're doing? You walked off a live broadcast. We're losing ratings, and you're staging a circus." Stallone stands slowly, his presence looming in the cramped room. He meets Linda's eyes. "A circus? Linda, I came to talk about veterans living on the streets, while people like you chase clicks. Jimmy insulted me, but I won't stay silent. Linda snorts, her voice sharp. You signed a contract, Sly. If you or your cameraman buddy publish a word, we'll sue you into bankruptcy. Ted, who'd been quiet in the corner, steps forward. Sue away. I don't work for you. I'm a freelancer. This recording is mine. Linda turns to him, her eyes narrowing. You're nobody, Ted. We'll ruin your career in 5 minutes. Stallone places a hand on Ted's shoulder, stopping his retort. Linda, you can threaten all you want, but the truth will come out. People are tired of your games. They want real stories, not your scripted nonsense. The guards step closer, but Stallone raises a hand. No need. I'll leave. But know this, it's just the beginning. He nods to Ted and Emily, and the three exit the dressing room, ignoring Linda's shouts. The hallway buzzes with chaos, assistants scurry, phones ring, and staff whisper. Sly walked off the show. Social media is ablaze. Hashtag Stand with Sly trends as people share clips of Jimmy telling Stallone to shut his mouth. At the studio parking lot, Stallone, Ted, and Emily pile into Ted's old pickup. The air smells of asphalt and exhaust. Ted pulls out the flash drive and plugs it into his laptop. I've got a friend at an independent news site, he says. He can post this in an hour. But, Sly, you sure? There's no going back. Stallone gazes at the twinkling lights of Los Angeles in the distance. He thinks of Mike, a veteran who told him about sleeping in his car because he can't afford rent. Of Sarah, who fears sleep because of nightmares. His voice is quiet but resolute. Post it, Ted. Let the world hear. Ted nods and starts uploading. Emily, in the back seat, suddenly speaks. I know veterans from a local support group. They could share their stories. Maybe we could hold a press conference. Stallone turns to her, his eyes lighting up. Emily, that's brilliant. We won't just post the video. We'll give a voice to those who've been ignored. As Ted finishes the upload, Stallone's phone explodes with notifications. His manager texts, Sly, what are you doing? The studio's threatening to sue. Hollywood friends send support, but some warn, you're stepping on big toes. Journalists clamor for comments. Suddenly, Ted gasps. It's done. The video's live. The three sit in silence, staring at the laptop screen. An article appears. Sylvester Stallone walks off Kimmel show after insult. Records powerful veteran appeal. The video racks up views, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 in minutes. Comments flood in, Slice a hero, Kimmel's a disgrace, thank you for speaking for veterans. But the joy is short-lived. Ted's phone rings, it's his friend from the site. Ted, we're under attack. Someone's trying to hack the server. And I just got a call from the studio's lawyers with threats. Stallone clenches his fists. He knew the studio wouldn't back down. But now the stakes are higher, not just his reputation, but Ted and Emily's safety. Ted, can you get the video on other platforms? He asks. Already on it, Ted replies, his fingers flying over the keyboard. Emily turns to Stallone. Mr. Stallone, I know a place where we can gather veterans. An old community center in Santa Monica. They hold meetings for those back from war. If we hold an event there, people will come. Stallone nods, his mind racing with a plan. Good. We head there at dawn. But first, we need to lay low. Linda and her crew won't stop. They start to pick up and drive into the night, Los Angeles's lights blurring into streaks. Stallone stares out the window, his heart pounding. He knows a storm is coming. The studio, the media, maybe even the government will try to stop him. But he has Ted, Emily, and the truth that just broke free. Meanwhile, social media erupts. Veteran organizations, activists, and ordinary people share Stallone's video. Some write, time to change the system. Others share personal stories. I'm a veteran, and I was fired because of PTSD. But negative comments surface too. Slice just grandstanding. He insulted Jimmy. Polarization grows, and Stallone knows the fight is just beginning. Where will this night lead? Can they organize a press conference before the studio shuts them down? And will Stallone stay true to his mission with the world watching? The night in Los Angeles is thick as tar, but the city's lights refuse to let darkness win. Ted's old pickup speeds down the highway toward Santa Monica, where veterans gathered by Emily await at a community center. Sylvester Stallone sits in the front seat, his gaze fixed on the horizon. His phone buzzes incessantly, messages from his manager, friends, journalists, but he ignores them. Only one thought consumes him. He cannot let down those who believe in him. Ted, gripping the steering wheel, glances at Stallone. Sly, the video's on 5 platforms. Views past 2 million. But Kimmel Studio filed a lawsuit. They claim we violated copyright. Stallone grunts, his voice calm but tinged with exhaustion. Let them sue. This isn't their truth, it's ours. Emily, in the back, scrolls through her phone. Her face glows from the screen, and she suddenly gasps. Mr. Stallone, look. Veteran organizations nationwide are sharing your video. They want to hold marches for your film. And, she hesitates, Jimmy just posted an apology. Stallone turns to her, eyebrows raised. An apology? Read it. Emily reads Jimmy Kimmel's tweet. I went too far with Sly. Didn't mean to disrespect veterans. My mistake. Let's honor those who served. The comments are a storm. Some call it PR. Others demand Stallone return to the show. He's just saving his skin, Ted mutters. Stallone nods, but a spark lights his eyes, not anger, but an idea. Maybe, but it's a chance. If he wants to make amends, we'll make him play by our rules. The pickup stops at the rundown community center in Santa Monica. Peeling paint and cracked walls mark the building, but inside it's warm, smelling of fresh coffee. About 30 veterans, men and women, ages 20 to 70, fill the room. Some wear worn jackets, others sport medals. Their faces blend hope and skepticism. Emily introduces Stallone, and the room erupts in applause. He raises a hand for silence. I'm no hero, he begins, his voice loud but genuine. You are. I just want your stories heard. Today, we'll record your words, and I promise, they'll reach every corner of this country. The veterans speak. Mike, a man with a gray beard, recounts losing his home after Iraq. Sarah, a young woman with trembling hands, shares how her family abandoned her due to PTSD. Each voice hits like a punch, but Stallone listens, unwavering. Ted films everything, while Emily notes names and contacts for support organizations. Suddenly, the hall's doors swing open. Linda, Kimmel's producer, strides in with 2 lawyers. The room falls silent. Linda looks confident, but her voice quivers with restrained fury. Sylvester, this stops now. You breached your contract, and your cameraman stole our property. If you don't quit, we'll crush you in court. The veterans murmur angrily. Mike stands, eyes blazing. You think you can scare us? We've seen worse than your paperwork. Stallone raises a hand, calming the crowd. He looks at Linda, his voice steady but resolute. Linda, I don't want a war. But if you think you can silence these people, you're wrong. Here's the deal. I'll return to the show. But this time, we talk about veterans. No jokes, no edits. And you give airtime to their stories. Linda laughs, but it's nervous. You're setting terms? After you screwed us over? No, Stallone replies. I'm offering a chance to fix a mistake. Jimmy apologized. Let him prove it's not just words. The lawyers whisper to Linda. The room waits, the air thick with tension. Finally, Linda nods, her face tight. Fine. One show. But if you pull another stunt, it's over. Stallone extends his hand. Deal. The next evening, Kimmel's studio hums again. The audience is restless, spotlights glare, cameras focus. Jimmy takes the stage, his smile subdued. He opens with a brief intro. Last night, I messed up. I didn't let Sylvester Stallone say what mattered. Tonight, we fix that. Welcome, Sly, and the veterans with him. Stallone walks out with Mike, Sarah, and Emily. The crowd roars with applause. Jimmy seems sincere, though caution lingers in his eyes. Stallone sits, exuding calm. "Jimmy, thanks for the chance," he begins. "But today's not about me. It's about people who gave everything for our country." Mike shares his story, his voice shaking but steady. Sarah talks of fearing nightmares. Emily addresses the lack of veteran support. The audience listens in silence, some in tears. To his credit, Jimmy doesn't interrupt. He asks questions, listens, nods. At the end, he stands, clapping with the crowd. "I promise," Jimmy says, "we'll keep this conversation going. And we'll support organizations helping veterans." The show ends to thunderous applause. Backstage, Stallone shakes Jimmy's hand. "You did the right thing," he says. Jimmy smiles, genuinely this time. Learn from the best, Sly. The following weeks are a whirlwind. Stallone's documentary premieres, becoming a sensation. Veteran organizations receive millions in donations. Marches for veterans sweep dozens of cities. Stallone, Ted, and Emily become symbols of the fight for justice. But it's not perfect. Kimmel Studios still sues Ted, and some media brand Stallone a rebel who wrecked Hollywood. He ignores them. Every morning, he receives letters from veterans thanking him for being heard. One evening, Stallone sits in his Los Angeles apartment. On the table, a coffee mug and a letter from Mike, who writes that he got a job and housing thanks to a fund created post-show. Stallone smiles, but his gaze lands on his laptop, where a new article reads, "Can Hollywood change after the Stallone scandal?" He leans back, staring at the city lights outside. Change doesn't come overnight. But a small step, his step, has sparked a wave. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough to start.